You're listening to the 49 Carats Podcast, a 49ers Goldmine production with Stephanie Sanchez.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another edition of the 49 Carats Podcast. I'm your host, Steph, aka Baby Bosa, the Nick Bosa impersonator. It is Wednesday, May 15th, and you guys maybe have just seen the 49ers release their schedule. Along with it, they posted a couple of videos, one of which includes your girl. And yeah, it's crazy. I'll talk about that for a bit before we get into the schedule. First, I just want to say thank you to the 49ers. Like, I would have never imagined in 100 years that I would be able to collaborate with the 49ers, that they would reach out to me to do something this freaking awesome. Like, I'm ecstatic. So, yeah, definitely really excited though. I've been nervous for the past 2 hours because literally the first time you guys saw it, it's the first time I saw it, and I didn't know how it was gonna come out. We filmed it the weekend of the draft, so it was a super crazy, overwhelming weekend for me, I guess. But again, the 49ers did a hell of a job. I did all the tour thing, got to get on the field and all that. Got to check out the locker room. I definitely have some behind the scenes stuff to show you guys. So really excited to share that with you guys after this. But yeah, I'm just really just blown away. I've been anticipating this for the past month or so I'm really excited that it's finally out. Man, especially because the schedule release is such a big deal, and again, to just be asked to be a part of it is huge. So thank you to the 49ers, and thank you guys, everyone that's congratulating me, tweeting me. All my notifications are blowing up right now, but you know what, that stuff can wait. Notifications will be there after this live. We're going to talk about the schedule, the 49ers schedule release, since that is what happened today. So definitely going to be talking about that. Let me just pull up my slides here. You know how I do with the slides. Yeah, let's 1 second. Appreciate all of you guys tuning in. You guys are the best. For anyone who hasn't seen the video, by the way, the 49ers just posted it on their social media accounts, maybe within the last 5-10 minutes or so. So make sure you guys check that out. Shout out Rita Oak too. They did another release video with Rita Oak's artwork. As you guys know, she is the GOAT of art. So check that out as well. Appreciate all of you guys. Jordan, what's up, man? Thank you, Technic. There's my sister. Thank you. Yeah, man, this is so crazy. This is this is really crazy. All right, but you guys came here to check out the schedule and to react to that along with me. Yeah, dude, I kind of wish Rob called me right before I went live, and I kind of wish he had called me when I was already live, because that'd have been hilarious. But yeah, Rob, okay, this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I move on to the actual schedule. I literally didn't tell anyone besides my immediate family and my fiance. Those are the only people who knew. I just wanted everyone to be as surprised, and get to see it at the same time. And yeah, I think I definitely accomplished that. Everyone was definitely surprised. So thank you guys. All right, let's talk about this schedule, shall we? All right, so you guys might have seen my preview from earlier. So let's do this. All right, so this is the final 2024 schedule for the 49ers. We got week 1. That one we knew about for a few days now. Week 1 against the Jets at home, Monday Night Football, prime time. You got to love that. I love having an exciting and entertaining home opener, not just a home opener, but season opener. And it's against an actual good team, against, Aaron Rodgers, Robert Saleh. There's a lot to love about that matchup, and I love being able to start the season off with a bang for the 49ers. I love that matchup. It's going to be an exciting one. 49ers don't often start their season with too many home games, so to be able to start one, and again, Monday Night Football, it being nighttime, shouldn't be as hot, so that's great. That's good for them. Week 2, you got the Vikings. Now, the thing here is it's going to be a short week. The 49ers, Monday Night Football. That means week 2 against the Vikings. That's an away game. They're going to be traveling to Minnesota. That sucks, right? That does suck. But Minnesota, that's not the craziest draw, right? That things could have definitely been worse. Don't even know who's going to be their starting quarterback this season. It could be Sam Darnold, which, I'd feel great about. And it could also be JJ McCarthy, right? That's who they picked up in the draft. So again, I think week 2 is doable. Then you got week 3 against the Rams. That is an away game, but as we know, basically a home game. There's going to be a lot of 49er fans in the house, like they always are. So that's not a bad 3-game stretch there. Now, week 4 at home against the Patriots. So far, I'm really loving the start of this season. These are pretty favorable matchups for the 49ers early in the season. Get them off to a nice hot start. And then week 5, again at home against the Cardinals. That's awesome. Those 5 games right there, I feel like 49ers can breeze through that, right? Then we got week 6. I consider this to be a bit of a mini gauntlet, if you will. So you got Seahawks week 6, Thursday Night Football. That is an away game, so it will be in Seattle. All right, then you got week 7 against Kansas City. Against Kansas City at home, all right? Listen, 49ers better win that game, man. I mean, I'm telling you. Do it for us, all right? Just beat them once, all right? And it's big because if you know that you can do it, maybe that'll help them in the long run if they get to the Super Bowl again and have to play the Chiefs again. I don't know, but just do it, all right? Week 7. But needless to say, we're looking at a bit of a tough stretch here. Then you got week 8 against the Cowboys at home, Sunday Night Football. I was saying this earlier. I was like, dude, stop putting the Cowboys on prime time. All they do is disappoint, and I get it. They're a big draw for the league. They draw a lot of viewership, as do the 49ers. So I'm sure week 8, Sunday Night Football is going to be a crazy draw for the NFL. But I mean, I think we kind of know how that game's going to turn out, right? All right. So that's a pretty tough 3-game stretch for the 49ers there early in the season after a pretty easy first 5 weeks of the season. Then after that mini gauntlet, you got a week 9 bye. The second year in a row, the 49ers have a week 9 bye. That's awesome. I love that. Earlier when I was doing my preview, we didn't know who the 49ers were going to play in week 11. I was like, that's a really ideal bye week for me. I still feel like that's an ideal bye week 11. But week 9, I like that as well. All right. And I don't mind it too, because again, after that little mini gauntlet, you might be a little banged up. All right. So week 10, you're going to come back revitalized. You're going to get back on the road against the Bucks. Then you have week 11 against the Seahawks. That is going to be at home for the Niners. Then week 12. This is a little stretch we got to talk about here. Week 12 against the Packers in Green Bay, and week 13 against the Bills in Buffalo. that is like end of like around November time. So that's going to be cold, I would imagine. Could be windy, especially that game against the Bills, because that's going to be Sunday night football. Temperatures tend to drop once the sun goes down. So I'm concerned about that. And I'm concerned about that being back to back weeks for the 49ers. Not going to lie to you. What I do like, though, going into week 14, the 49ers go back home and they play the Bears. Now, we don't know what the Bears are going to be like this year with Caleb Williams. And certainly, let's just say hypothetically, right? Hypothetically, if Caleb Williams has a season with a similar trajectory to that of CJ Stroud, week 14 could suddenly be very interesting. I know the past, like, however many years, we've kind of looked at the Bears as, maybe a certain kind of team, even though the 49ers has dropped a game to the lowly Bears in recent years, but we won't talk about that right now. But yeah, that week 14 game, if the Bears find a groove, like week 14 would be the time that they would find a groove, find a rhythm in their offense, maybe even in their defense. So that could be an interesting game. And if it is, then this entire stretch from week 12, even maybe week 11 to week 17 is kind of brutal. I mean, it could be brutal if the Bears end up, being good. Again, like, don't know what the Seahawks are going to look like this season, but if the Seahawks end up having a good year, week 11 is also interesting. I mean, any NFC West game is going to be interesting. They always play each other pretty hard. So week 11 and week 17 is scary. Yeah, I'm not even gonna lie to you. That's really scary. So let's go down the rest of the games here after the Bears. So week 15, Thursday night football, home game against the Rams. I love that, division game. And then also, like, going back, if the Bears aren't that good, then I don't mind the short week playing against the Rams. And again, it's going to be at home, so at least the 49ers won't have to do any traveling in the Rams case and won't have to do too much traveling either. It's really just a 1-hour flight. But then you go to week 16, and that's an away game. You play in Miami against the Dolphins. That is tough once again. So that's an interesting turnaround right there. The 49ers will have kind of a mini bye going into that one. They'll just have a couple extra days in preparation for the Dolphins. So that's one way to look at it. And then week 17, Monday Night Football against the Lions at home. We know that one's going to be a real interesting one. That's going to be in December. That's crazy. That's crazy. So again, week 11 and week 17, I'm putting a pin in that because it could be real scary. I'm hoping the Bears don't figure themselves out in the middle of the season, and maybe that week 14 game could end up being a bit of a break for the 49ers, but I don't know. That's a gauntlet right there. That's a gauntlet. Then week 18, you have the Arizona Cardinals. Now, this would be the second matchup against the Cardinals in Arizona. Brock going back to Arizona, and Cardinals are a team that could also, they have the potential to figure some things out in season. I really liked their draft this year. So if they kind of put those pieces together, they could be interesting, but I don't know. I'm going to err on the side of thinking maybe not. So that week 18 game potentially could be bye week for them, or, could be interesting for seeding and all that, as the week 17 game would be too against the Lions. I would not doubt if that game determines the seeding for the NFC. So that is the 49ers 2024 schedule. Let me get some of your thoughts here. Let me run through some of these comments. 49ers Throwback says 49ers will be wearing their 1994 uniforms. Watch. I really think that will happen. For which game, TB? For which game? I mean, I love that the 94 uniforms are pretty much like a mainstay now. Every season they wear them at least once. So I love that because they're just so clean. Don says, can't wait to smash the Jets. I love that confidence going into week 1. Ashley says, let's go, Steph. You're such a baller. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Don says, I saw someone say they were going to smash the Chiefs. The Niners? Man, I mean, the Niners can barely beat they've never beaten the Chiefs under Patrick Mahomes, so I don't know if they're gonna smash them. And I mean, even if they do, that's not gonna make me feel better. All right, beat them in the Super Bowl. That's all I care about. Technic, she says, I like that though. Week 6 through 8 is tough. It's buffered by home/easier games before them and a bye after. I agree. Week 8 is that's why I say that's like a mini gauntlet. It's like 3 games that are on the tougher side. But you have week 5 against the Cardinals at home, and then week 9 bye week. All right, you can get through it unscathed. And if you're a little scathed, then you got the bye week to dust yourself off. David said, just came to say congrats on the schedule video. You have officially arrived. Did your own stunts and all. Which is the trap game. Ooh, the trap game. I mean, it's early, right? I think looking at this schedule, the trap game for me is the Bears. Because, again, we're looking at the Bears as a certain kind of team. They've been bad for a few years, so we don't take them seriously. But now they have Caleb Williams, and so that's going to change the perception. Now, by week 14, we're going to go into that game having a better idea who the Bears are. But in May, that's kind of what I'm circling as the trap game, right? But that's a good question. What do you guys think is a trap game this season? 49ers Throwback says, based on my research, it says it snows in early December in Buffalo. Okay, and that Bills game is going to be, let me see the date on it. It's December 1st. Yeah, so the Packers game is November 24th, so end of November. And then the Bills game is December 1st. But the temperatures start to drop already. I don't think it's going to be like a sub-zero temperature game. Temperature game. I don't yes, it's good if it doesn't snow, but it's still going to be really cold. And I think if it's windy, that can make it feel even colder. So for now, I'm bracing myself for both Green Bay and Buffalo games. And I would just go into them expecting it to be cold because that's just different. It's just a different kind of cold. Throwback says Cowboys have a bye week before they play us. That's interesting. So, yeah, that's interesting, right? Because right now we're looking at the 49ers schedule. We're looking at it from literally just the perspective of the 49ers schedule. We also have to take into account everything else, and that means the teams that the 49ers are playing against, what are they dealing with, right? And so the Cowboys have a bit of an advantage going into that game, being that they have a bye week before week 8. So that could give them, it's going to give them more time to prepare. Whether that makes a difference in the outcome of the game is yet to be seen. But, little things like that, that context does matter in the grand scheme of these things. Oh, come on. The Bills and the Chiefs have bye weeks before they play the Niners? Are you kidding me? The Chiefs too? Oh my God. Oh my. I'm about to give my season predictions in a bit here, but I don't like that. I don't like that one bit. Doesn't Andy Reid have a crazy record after the bye week or with the Chiefs? I'm pretty sure it's a really good record. And yeah, so that's crazy. So against the Bills too, and we're gonna be coming off that Packers game, like I said. So 2 road games in a row for the 49ers. And it's gonna be Sunday Night Football. Don't love that. Don't love that at all. That sucks. Technic Chic says at least Miami is later, so it won't be as hot and is a mini bye. Yeah, exactly. I mean, getting that game later in the season definitely good for the Niners. It's during a really tough stretch of games, but at least it won't be hot. Oh man. All right. Mark Graves says 3 separate trips to the East Coast. The NFL screwed the Niners. I mean, but we kind of expected that, right? Just based on who they were going to be playing. We already knew there were going to be away games. The 49ers could stay on the East Coast between week 12 and week 13, although I don't think they love to do that. Like, I don't think the players love that because they got to stay away from their families for extended time. Like, that's difficult. We don't want to make them feel like they're being sent out to war, okay? So having that support system, having the opportunity to be around your family, I think helps these guys boost the morale, right? You don't want them being a little down because they haven't seen their family, their wives, their children, what have you, going into that Bills game. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I don't think they'll end up staying on the East Coast though. Joey says 49ers play 4 teams off bye weeks. Crazy. That's crazy. Only have rest advantage against the Bucks in Miami. Yeah, going into that Bucks game because 49ers have the bye week the week prior, and then the mini bye going into that Dolphins game. That's crazy. Oh, my brother in the comments reminding us that Kyle is 0-4 all time against Mahomes. Thanks for that. Technic Chic, thank you so much for the donation. Appreciate you so much. Like, you've been one of the most consistent viewers on my channel, and just appreciate the love. Westside says Steph is on fire. Outside of the KC game, which game are you most looking forward to? Westside, I'm not looking forward to the Kansas City game. All right, I'll tell you that right now. But besides that, a game that I'm looking forward to, I'm looking forward to the game against the Lions, and that's not until week 17. I would have said against the Packers, but I don't love that it's an away game that late into the season. But I do love I don't know, for some reason, I just know they feel a type of way about how they lost that game. And I just want the 49ers to show them it wasn't a fluke, I also am looking forward to playing the Rams this year. I think they're sneaky interesting, but not so sneaky. I think with Puka last year, with their defense, actually being good and better than we thought they would be. They have good coaching, man. I like what the Rams have done. So that I think those are always good games. No Aaron Donald too, so I'm excited about that. All right. Nick Eller. He said, Steph, amazing work. Where that gym at? So if assuming you're talking about the one in the video, that was at the 49ers facility. I was in the I was in the team gym. And I got to shoot it there. I was also in the actual team locker room. Got to check out Nick Bosa's locker room, or his locker stall, or whatever it's called, his cubby. I saw Trent Williams, 2 cubbies. Dude, it seems like you're walking into a club when you see his section. It's like a VIP section in the locker room. It's kind of crazy. But yeah, so that was at the team facility at the team gym. So really cool. And I was actually, lifting real weights there. There was some real weights on my quads. So I got a bit of a workout as well. Nick says schedule is actually really fair. Spread out, no 3-game gauntlet, in my opinion. So you're not seeing week 6 through 8 as any type of gauntlet. Okay. Well, how do you feel about week 11 through week 17? It's split against that week 14 game against Bears. But like I said, Bears could be good by then. You just don't know. Okay. Joey also pointing out that the New England Patriots play Thursday night football in week 3, so it'll be a mini bye for them before playing the Niners in week 4. Oh my god. God, man. Who's in charge of the schedule? Like who decided this? I'm just kidding. I'm not worried about the Patriots. I mean, new coach, it'll be early in the season. They're going to go through some growing pains. I don't care if they have a mini bye week. They can have whatever mini bye week they want. Yeah, Lions game is going to be huge. Appreciate you, Jesse. Appreciate you. I know you've given me some good video ideas in the past, so definitely appreciate that. Adrian says, might have to fly down for that Rams game this year. Hey, if it's not you, it's going to be another 49ers fan because we know it's going to be lit in there. And we're going to paint the town red like we always do. Yeah, Nick Bosa's cubby, my cubby, same thing, basically. And I think I have to take, Brock Purdy got the nickname Baby Bosa because he has big quads, but respectfully, I think I'm Baby Bosa, right? Like people have called me that, so I think I'm like stealing that nickname. Nick says, when did Seahawks become a team you're worried about? It's not that it's not that I'm worried about the Seahawks. And fine, okay, maybe not week 11. That was just kind of like a maybe, especially because that'll be a home game for the 49ers. But you can definitely put in the Seahawks there if you want. The reason that they could be better this year, Mike McDonald, that defense, the 49ers struggled against that defense when they played the Ravens last season. And so the Seahawks going to be doing some of the same stuff. I mean, that's where I'm like, they could be better than they were last year, at least their defense. Their offense, no, I'm not worried about their offense, but week 11 has potential because it is an NFC West matchup. It has potential to be interesting. But if you don't count that one as being part of the gauntlet, fine. Week 12 to week 17. Is that better? I mean, that's still like a bunch of games. So I consider that a pretty big gauntlet. Yeah, you can have my autograph. It's just a little squiggle, but happy to. All right, now it's time to give my predictions. Oh my god, I need a piece of paper. Because what I'm gonna do, what I always do with my predictions is I kind of I give like a optimistic prediction, and then I also give like a not so optimistic one, or I guess a more realistic one. So let's do this. All right. And I want you guys in the comments too. Let me know what you think. So week 1 against the Jets, Monday Night Football, Aaron Rodgers, Robert Saleh. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be interesting. But I think I just know that Kyle Shanahan's gonna have some new wrinkles for this offense, and I really feel like in that week 1 game against Robert Saleh, that's a good time to kind of just like show a little bit of that. So I think Saleh's gonna be, and I know Saleh's not defensive coordinator, but he's a head coach. He's gonna be expecting Kyle to do certain things, pass that on to Jeff Ulbrich and his defense to do and look out for. But I think Kyle's gonna like switch some things up this season. And I think we're going to see it in that week 1 game because you kind of have to bring out some chess moves for that one. So it's at home too. The energy at Levi's is going to be electric. I say the 49ers win that one. Kind of biasly. Let's just say that's my optimistic. And then not so optimistic. Let's just say they take the L in week 1. Nah, I don't even see that one being a toss-up, actually. No, I take that back. All right. So week 1, I call it a win. Week 2 against the Vikings, that's a win as well. Week 3 against the Rams in LA, I say that's a win for the Niners too. I might have a different story for week 15, the Thursday night game. But week 3, I think the 49ers take that one. Week 4, against the Patriots, I think the 49ers take that one too. They have some things to figure out. Same thing with the Rams. Like, the Rams are a very young team, and a lot of them are obviously coming back this season. But I don't know. Maybe they'll have. It's still early in the season. They'll have some kinks to figure out with some of their new players. Life without Aaron Donald, how to work with that without him. So I give the edge to the 49ers in week 3 and week 4, obviously, as well. Again, I don't care if the Patriots have a mini bye going into that one. That's a win. Week 5 against the Cardinals, that is a win as well. So I have the 49ers going 5-0 in that first 5-game stretch. Then you got week 6 against the Seahawks. That's a Thursday night football game in Seattle. I think the 49ers win that one too, just because, I think that with a new head coach, again, they might be figuring out those kinks. It's still somewhat early in the season. The fact that it's a short week doesn't make that interesting. You guys know who the Seahawks are playing before the 49ers in week 6? Who the Seahawks playing in week 5? That might change my decision here. But I think the 49ers do win that game in week 6. Then you got week 7. They lose that one game. They lose that game against the Chiefs. I don't care. I mean, show me you can beat them once. Okay, so then you got the Cowboys, Sunday Night Football. I think they beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys haven't done anything to impress me this offseason. So they've arguably have beaten a better Cowboys team. And so I think that week 8, 2024 Cowboys don't scare me. Week 9, but they're coming off a bye too. That'll make it interesting. Like, they'll put up a fight maybe, but I just don't see them coming out with it. Week 9 is a bye week, so that's fine. So at the bye week, I have the 49ers having only lost 1, so they would be 7-1 at the bye week per my prediction. And as of right now, I don't have any toss-ups. So yeah, that's all being optimistic and realistic. And we got week 10 against the Bucks. I think the Niners can win that, especially coming off a bye week. It's an away game, but I think they could do that. Week 11. So this is the one where things could be interesting, because if Mike Macdonald, again, new head coach, but it's week 11 now, so you might be getting into a groove with your team. You might be getting the type of momentum that you need. So this one could be a toss-up for me in week 11. It could be. So my optimistic prediction is a win. My not so optimistic one is a loss. We'll count that up after. And then we got week 12 against the Packers. What pisses me off is that, like, low-key, George Kittle saying after they beat the Packers in the playoffs, he was on Pat McAfee and he was like, "Go Pack, go the hell home." I feel like that's just going to bite them in the ass at some point. I don't know if that's going to be in week 12, but at some point it's going to bite them in the ass. So I don't like that he said that. But all right, week 12. Optimistically, I'd say a win. My not so optimistic prediction would be an L. Then against the Bills, same thing. Like, it obviously can go either way. So I'll tally those up for either side. Week 14, I say the 49ers. Again, like, that's such a weird one. That one could be a toss-up as well. Then you got week 15, Thursday Night Football, short week against the Rams. So this is the one. I got the 49ers winning in week 3, but week 15 is one where I think, maybe the Rams surprise the 49ers here. They get the win, so 49ers take the L there. And then week 16 against the Dolphins. That one's going to be really interesting. I feel like the Dolphins in the last few seasons, like they've dealt with a lot of injuries. So by week 16, like they might be injury riddled if it's like a repeat of last year. If they have that figured out, then maybe not. But going based off of what I know about, the Dolphins and just them getting the injury bugs, I'm going to say the 49ers win that one. And I mean, I just think Kyle Shanahan likes to play his former proteges and, show him who's boss. And then week 17 against the Lions. God, it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I feel like the Lions lost a bunch of guys this offseason, right? Didn't they? They did resign some guys too. I say the Lions win that one just because they need it more. Like they're gonna be looking for revenge from how the season ended the year prior. But here's my further prediction to go past week 17. I do think that game will have implications to the final seeding of the NFC. I think both teams meet each other in the playoffs again. I think the 49ers win in the playoffs. So you'll be happy to know that. All right, week 18 against the Cardinals. I see no threat in the Cardinals. I think the 49ers win again. All right, so here's what I have. Oof. All right. So my optimistic prediction, let me count them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So that's 14 wins, 3 losses. That's my optimistic prediction right there. Then my not so optimistic prediction is, let's see, we got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oof, you guys are not going to like this. My not so optimistic prediction is 9-6. So, all right. So I'm between 14-3 and 9-6, which is very, very dramatic. The reason that it got so skewed between the two is really the games between week 11 and week 15. Like a lot of those games to me are toss-ups. So, yeah, those are all really close. So the truth could probably be somewhere in the middle, and I think we'd still be happy with that outcome. What are your guys' predictions? Let me know in the comments. Let me catch up to some of these comments. Technic Chic says, do you think the Seahawks have the personnel to pull off the same type of Ravens defense scheme? No, not right now. I mean, I feel like they had drafted players that are good, like Devin Witherspoon. He was good, but he didn't have the rookie season that they were expecting because I don't know. It just didn't seem like that system was really good. So now with Mike McDonald, I do think they're gonna implement certain things. Now, as far as personnel goes, yes, he is inheriting that Seahawks team, and so there are gonna be some growing pains and some adjustments to that specific personnel that they have. And I'm sure it's more likely that next year, for example, they'll probably have a better grasp of that same identity that maybe the Ravens defense had, because they'll have more guys of that that fit that personnel more, either from free agency or the draft. I did like some of their draft picks though, their defensive pickups in this year's draft. So that'll be interesting. They have potential. That's all I'm saying. They have some potential. And again, the 49ers struggled with that. So we'll see what happens. Again, by week 11, I think there's a better chance that the Seahawks have a better grasp of the system. Week 6, that's why I have the 49ers winning, just because it's still earlier in the season that, I think the advantage is going to be with the 49ers there. 49ers Throwback says it's going to happen. Offenses one day will figure out Mike McDonald's defense. It happens all the time where teams have to evolve, adjust. And, like, that's kind of what I was thinking with that week 1 game against the Jets, right? Like, Robert Saleh is gonna be expecting Kyle Shanahan to do a specific thing, like what he's kind of always done, because he's had the same type of personnel for for so long. But now, like, I think with Ricky Pearsall, if Isaac Guerrero gets going, I don't think Isaac Guerrero will have a huge role in week 1, if at all. But, I do expect we see some Ricky Pearsall. I do expect we might see some Jacob Cowing in that game potentially, just to mix things up a bit and do some things that Robert Saleh wouldn't have never expected you to do, right? So everyone's evolving in the NFL, but I do kind of feel like there's so many Kyle Shanahan tree coaches out there now. There's so many descendants from his coaching tree that a lot of defenses have gotten used to playing against that offense, the Kyle Shanahan offense. And, like, yes, they all do the offense in their own ways, and they have very different personnels. So they have their own twist to it as well. But, from the high level standpoint, I think defenses have kind of started to adjust to that offense. But even with that, like, Kyle Shanahan was still able to have as awesome of a season, and this offense was able to have as good of a season as it did last year. So really where you just started to see that was against some really good defenses, like the Browns and the Ravens, and then in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Not every team can, like, go toe to toe against that 49ers offense, clearly. But I still think that we're going to see Kyle Shanahan add some new wrinkles to the offense just to continue to evolve. Don asks, do you think the schedule is going to be tough for us? I really the only thing is week 11 and week 17. Like, that's the only thing I'm like, that's tough, right? But besides that, I think it's manageable. And I think the 49ers will probably have a record between 4-3 and 9-6. Again, that's a really big canyon of possibilities, but that's still a good season. You have to think too, like, are the 49ers going to have, like, a Super Bowl hangover at all? I don't know. I really don't know. The last time they were coming off a Super Bowl, the whole team just, like, decided to get hurt. Like, I don't expect that to happen again. But I guess we haven't really seen this 49ers team, this healthy 49ers team after a Super Bowl. All right, let's see. Andrew, I love you, man. Make sure you guys check out Andrew's work on Niners Nation. One of the smartest guys I know. Love you, Andrew. CB Niners, loved the release video. Finally a good one. Oh, like, that means so much. And, like, it's crazy because that was something I was actually kind of nervous about with the video, because, like, I know how people kind of critique the 49ers, like, release videos, and they've underperformed to the eyes of many in recent years. And so, I don't know, I was, like, kind of scared about how it would go and how people would, react to it. But obviously, I know you guys would be cool with it because, you guys are my viewers already, and you guys like the impersonation. But I don't know. I haven't even seen the comments yet, so I'm expecting some toxic masculine men to have some bad things to say. But aside from that, I know you guys always show love, so I appreciate that. Westside CEW says Demo and DK will be eyeball emoji. Yeah, I mean, Lenore, I hope Lenore does get to be on the outside full time this year. I think that's, like, yes, he did a good job at nickel, but I just love having Demo out there, like, all the time. So on the outside is where he should stay. Joey says Lions have week 5 bye, so they might be on rundown by week 17. Ooh, that's a good point. feel like for the most part last season they were pretty healthy though. So I don't know. But yeah, that does play a role. Like they'll definitely be tolling a little bit by the end of the season. Joel says 13-4. 49ers win NFC West, NFC, and Super Bowl winners. I like where he heads at, Joel. I really do. Aaron says 13 or 14 wins. Respect that. 49ers throwback says, Steph, I have us losing to Green Bay, but we will beat them in the playoffs. Yeah, I can see that too. That's what I said about the Lions. Like, I could see the 49ers losing the Lions week 17, but I think the 49ers beat them in the playoffs. Could go either way. CB Niner says 17-0. Okay, no, realistically 13-4, but could be 10-7. See, okay, I'm glad it's not just me who does the, optimistic and not so optimistic prediction, because I don't know. Call it a hedge if you want. I don't care. Don said 15-2. Andrew, come on, man. 17 ties, Andrew Andrew says. All right. It's better than losing, right? Westside says 11-6. Let's see. All right. Yeah. I think all in all, like I feel like we feel pretty decent about the schedule, and we feel optimistic that the 49ers are going to have a, good season, a good enough season to make the playoffs, a good enough season to compete. Are they going to have a good enough season to win the Super Bowl? Well, we'll just have to wait and see. But I'm definitely excited about the season. Need something to be excited about after the way last year ended. So, yeah, this is good. This is good for us. And if you guys were wondering about the 49ers preseason games, let me put that up here in a second. So we have, because I'm usually interested in this, because at least one of the games is around my birthday. All right. So game 1 preseason is at Tennessee. Preseason game 2 is against New Orleans. If you guys didn't know, the 49ers are doing joint practices with New Orleans in Irvine. Interesting that they would do it in Irvine. I don't know why they wouldn't just do it in Santa Clara, but I don't know. Hopefully those will be open to the public too, because I would love to go. And then game 3 at Las Vegas Raiders. So, yeah, those are the preseason games. Not too bad. Not too bad. If you guys care about that kind of stuff. Yeah, all right. Well, let's see here. I've been talking my ass off for the last 48 minutes, and I'm going to go and check my notifications now because I probably on fire. But yeah, I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for all the support. Make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet, especially if you just stumbled upon this for the first time because of the Nick Bosa video. Like, you can press that like button. You can press the subscribe button. Don't be scared. All right. And yeah, once the season starts, I'll do more impersonations. So you guys could expect that. Make sure you guys hit that notification bell so you know when I go live. Audio listeners, leave a rating, leave a review. Really appreciate it. But for now, folks, have a good rest of your Wednesday night. Peace.